Okay, so by raise of hands, how many of you have keyed out plants prior to being in this class? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. A little less than half, okay? I bet you guys are all botany majors. Okay. Because we have such a split distribution, we're going to start and work today with this key 2019. This is an easier key because it has fewer species, right? Our books, which we'll graduate to very soon, have the woody plants of Utah, right? We're talking about the entire state. And the best book of all for keying out plants in Utah is the Utah Flora, which is about this big, right? And that's still a definitive thing that you can use to help you know if your identifications are correct. So let's pull out our 2019 key, if you have it, and let's work through this plant down here. Some of you may know this already, but if you do, keep that to yourself. We're going to try and get through the key for this guy right here. Okay, there's also some behind you. Okay, so kind of disperse around and if you want to take a look at the plants for a minute, I'll back off. Right away, what do we notice about what we think this is? What kind of plant is it? Is it a tree, a vine? Is it an herbaceous plant? Tree. We might also call this, well, I would definitely call this a tree. How do we know? Because there's one main stem at the bottom. We don't have a number of stems at the base. We have a single one, right? At least for different plants, for the most of it, okay? So let's ask ourselves, let's start out with at the beginning of our key. Jade, will you read for us the very first couplet?
Yeah. Plants are tree-like, usually with a single main trunk, or plants shrub-like, usually with several stems.
Now this one can be a bit confusing, because even right now I'm seeing 3 different main stems right here. And this might actually key both ways, but I would say that this is more of a tree. Do you agree? So then where are we going? Key A. Okay. Let's see if I can get there. Okay. All right, who wants to take the first couplet? Maddie.
Leaves needle-like or scale-like, usually evergreen. Leaves broader, not needle-like or scale-like, usually deciduous.
What do you say?
I say leaves broader and not needle-like.
Absolutely. Does anybody disagree? Okay, we're going to 15. Kaya,
Leaves opposite or leaves alternate?
what do you think?
Alternate.
Anybody disagree? Okay, leaves alternate. We're going to 20. Hayden.
Yeah. Leaves deeply lobed with rounded lobes. Leaves not deeply lobed with rounded lobes. Pretty deeply lobed.
Do you remember what lobing is? I'm going to pull off a leaf here. They're really dusty because they're close to the parking lot. Notice how the edge of the leaf is indented, right? And not necessarily along any type of vein, but it's indented. That's lobing, okay? This is the classic example of a lobed leaf here in Utah, is this one. So what is the species?
Gimble oak.
Gamble oak, Quercus gambellii. Okay, does anybody know the family? Hannah?
Is it Fagaceae?
Fagaceae. It's the oak family. Okay, this genus Quercus is a very prevalent and important genus of trees across the entire globe. It has distributions of different species, and they often hybridize with each other, which makes their identification very difficult. Here in Utah, I've grown up calling this scrub oak. So it has a different common names, but scrub oak and Gamble's oak are the common names for this one. Fagaceae, F-A-G-A-C-E-A-E is the family. Okay, so those are the three things, and Quercus gambelii are what you need to remember and know. Okay, so some of the things of how you can remember what this is. Notably, the lobing on the leaves. That's kind of a tell-all, right? But there are other plants that are lobed. The other feature that is quite unique to the genus Quercus is the fruit. Can you guys see the fruit? Anna, if you can find a fruit.
Yeah,
that'd be
there's
great.
one
I've got a
here.
bunch over here.
A bunch of them?
Mhm.
Show some people if you can't find them. I'm not seeing any around here.
I'm assuming you're talking about the acorns.
Yes.
Yes.
The acorn is the fruit, and it's this cup-like shape with a hat on top.
Mhm.
That's the quintessential fruit of Fagaceae, and particularly genus Quercus. And I think most of us know what an acorn is, and that's a tell-all for this particular genus. Not necessarily the species, because all the species in this genus have acorns. But here in Utah, this is the most prevalent oak that we have. It's not the only one, but it's the most prevalent one, especially on the Wasatch Front. Okay, any questions? A couple of trivia points about this. Quercus gambelii, or scrub oak, the acorns have been used by native peoples as a way to tan hides. You can eat them if you need to, if you're in a survival situation. But before you do, you need to soak them in water multiple times for about 48 hours. Soak it in water, change out the water. Soak it in water, change out the water. To leach out what are called the tannins. Tannins are the chemicals that tan hides. Do you know what tanning is, the process of tanning? It's the way that the Native Americans would take the pelts of animals like deer or bear and apply these chemicals to cure the pelt, to make it so that it becomes leather, like we see on our shoes or in our purses. And that sustains the longevity of that material to use as clothing or whatever they needed. Tanning is a very important process of preservation for leather hides. And the tannins are acidic. They actually change the pH of the hide and help to preserve it. So that's one of the trivia about Gamble oak. Okay, that's it. So that was probably the easiest keying experience we will encounter, by the way. Okay. So if you guys want to make observations of this, I don't want to do it now, but at the end of class, I'll leave some time. You can make this observation. It is on your 65 target list. All right. But I think in the essence of time, we're going to do some more keying out so that we can all learn together, and I'll let you do observations on your own time. That's okay. Okay, let's head up the trail.